Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my recap and review of the 2018 MTV Movie and TV Awards. So since these are the MTV Awards, I thought I would pay a little homage to an MTV queen herself and my forever queen, Ms. Britney Spears, and pay homage a little bit to just the general fashion aesthetic of the MTV Awards, period. Whether it's movies, music, whatever MTV is hosting, you can expect fashion choices. Well, there were certainly fashion choices on the red carpet here tonight. So, like we do in these award show reviews and recaps, let's go ahead and talk those fashions. So you already know it's going to be crazy when you're walking up to a MTV red carpet because it is definitely a more laid-back environment. You don't need the big glitz and glamour of the Oscars. It's still like 3, 4, 5 steps down from like the Golden Globes or the Grammys. And some people, honestly, I don't know what they're doing. So let's go ahead and start off by talking about the people who managed to bring some sort of fashion to this, well, rather fashionless event. We're actually going to start things off with someone who actually wore a dress, tried to look a little bit nice, and that is Aubrey Plaza. I actually loved it. I think she brought her own quirk, her own personal little aesthetic with the color, with those embellishments of the dress. The length was cool. I just thought she looked fabulous tonight. Then we're going to pop it on over to some of our Black Panther cast, because our two main stars there were definitely looking good. Starting with Michael B. Jordan, one of the best dressed men of the night. I loved it. This is how you get away with casual fashion. He was rocking the coat that looked really nice with just a plain white shirt, and then those really cool, fashionable, but a bit wild pants that fit him perfectly, and then the shoes. It all just came together for a really hip, casual, yet stylish enough for a red carpet type of outfit. Then I also did really like Chadwick Boseman's. This was a bold choice here with the matching jacket with that matching pant, and then you had a designed shirt underneath. But Chadwick is just able to pull off these really bold fashion statements. And again, it looked really trendy. It looked good. It fit him right. It had just enough flair to be presentable, but still had that like MTV feel to it. So I really enjoyed his as well. We're going to keep talking about the men who mixed casual with higher fashion and go with Nick Jonas next. Very much like Michael B. Jordan, it's when you mix a big pattern with a lot more subdued, solid surroundings. So he had the big pattern shirt on, but then just rocked a really nice leather vest, had the solid black pants, the nice shoes. He always looks good. But he was looking real good in this kind of edgy, kind of cool, but really fashionable outfit. And really, the men were the ones who stood out for me as best dressed. They took a lot of chances, and most of them paid off looking pretty freaking good. And the next one is Romeo. He definitely dressed it up more. He went with that light pink, with the brown shoe, and it looked great. I thought he just looked suave. He looked slick. Obviously, if he had slapped a tie on it, he'd be ready to walk into a much higher class event. But it had just the amount of swag to really pull off any awards red carpet, to be honest. And then my last real mention for best dressed is going to be Zendaya. We all know she knows how to pull a look, and I loved this structured dress. The fabric is very different, and I don't know that many others could pull it off other than Zendaya, but she killed it. I just love the way it's constructed, to be honest. The fabric could have been pretty much anything, but that color looks beautiful on her. Every color looks beautiful on her, and she continues to just kill it when it comes to these red carpet, because I thought she looked fabulous. So now we're going to go with a couple that has me divided, where the male is on the best and the female not so much, and that's G-Eazy for our best dress list. It's just sleek, it's cool, has just the right amount of flair. He's rocking that suit. However, Halsey is going to usher us in to the worst dressed on the red carpet for me personally. And there was a lot of worst dressed. So Halsey looks great in this red color. I even kind of like the billowy kind of satin feel of her dress. The cut is just all wrong. I don't really even know what this cut up top is. It just, I don't know, it looked like she just wrapped something around her real quick and called it a dress as she was running out the door. Then we go on over to Kim Kardashian. I don't really know what our obsession is still with this family, y'all. And I don't really know how she kind of got branded as somewhat of a fashion icon over the years. Like, that she is someone to look for any sort of fashions. I think it's maybe because she's curvier, so she provides a different look for fashions, a different body type. But don't be looking to her, because I would say over half the time she's a miss, like a hard miss when it comes to fashions. And tonight was no different. It just didn't work, from the horrible like little braids to the little crop top and that weird fitting horrible skirt. Nothing on the outfit worked. I thought it really made her look like little and short and stubby and big. It didn't work for me at all. Then we have Olivia Munn serving some slutty Golden Girl realness. I don't know what she was thinking in this pantsuit. The front in particular of the crotch area is just so old woman diaper-esque. It looks horrible. But that fabric is just disgusting. The color mixed with that fabric is disgusting. The leg embellishment hanging down there, horrible. Olivia Munn, you're a gorgeous woman, but this all is literally serving me like Blanche at her worst from the Golden Girls. And then we get Tessa Thompson, somebody I love. I love Tessa Thompson. But this, I don't know what this is other than horrible. Just horrible. It's like this weird, ugly pajamas. I don't even know how to describe this. It's baggy. It doesn't even remotely fit or give shape or give any sort of aesthetic. The braids are everything, but everything else is nothing. Like, this is garbage. I really didn't like this at all. To be honest, it might be actually my worst dress of the night. I did not like it. And then we get to Chloe and Haley. I'm not actually really familiar with these girls. They gave a musical performance later in the night that we'll talk about. But these fashions are not it. Everything could have gone together if it had just fit. I think maybe these two outfits could have been okay, but the dresses are so baggy. They're just like swallowing these little girls up. The hairdresses are too big, and those gloves, they don't even fit. They have like baggy gloves on, which I just don't understand. It all just looks like kids playing dress up with mom's clothes when they're really, really, really small, because everything is eating them up and far too big. But don't think the men are exempt on the worst dressed list either, because there were plenty of men that came looking a fool. Starting with Winston Duke. I don't think he just outright looked terrible, but please don't be wearing this super cash jumpsuit to an award show. This design was too much. It just didn't work for me. It looked like DJ Khaled collection or something tacky like that. I wasn't here for it. And it was made that much more evident, actually, when he went on stage to accept an award with Michael B. Jordan and Chadwick Boseman looking fly, and he had to stand next to them in that. And then Dylan Minnette, I mean, really? Again, I know this is a casual award show, but can you put just a tiny bit of effort in? You're really just wearing this like Jurassic Park, rather old looking graphic tee with some weird jeans and these horrible shoes, and your jeans are like high waters. It's horrible. Makes his head look big. The whole thing is bad, and I would be personally super embarrassed to walk down a red carpet this dressed down. Like, oof. Then we get to Justice Smith and his dates, and they both look terrible. I don't really know who she is, to be honest, or what she's wearing, because it's dreadful. And him, I hardly know who he is, to be honest. He tried to give us something, but it's nothing. And it really does come down to those high waters mixed with those shoes. Really kill the look. Plus that shirt underneath and the glasses, it's all just a no. It's a no. And then finally, we're going to get to Chris Pratt, who was an honoree of the evening, winning a big award. And he tried. That's why he's going last, because he did try to at least look somewhat good. But whew, sometimes you really need that help of a stylist to understand what looks somewhat good, because this is not it. This is not it at all. The undershirt being untucked underneath, no thank you. Then, to go with 3 different colors is where the big problem lies. You can do a different color sports jacket than the color of pants. And it can look really sharp and really good and really crisp. But first, you need to tuck in your shirt to pull that off, really. And then, the shoes have to match one of the two. So he went with a grayish sports coat with these horrible black pants, and then these horrible brown shoes. It's just like this hodgepodge mismatch, horrible up and down. Up here looks good at least, but the rest, no. You can keep that, Chris. So now on to the show itself, and we're going to start off with our hostess for the evening, Ms. Tiffany Haddish. So I love Tiffany Haddish. I think at this point, if you've been exposed to Tiffany, it's hard not to love her. And tonight was actually the perfect exemplification of why. Because she is so genuinely fun. She is genuinely herself and just so much fun. She's so funny. She's not a tryhard. And it all just comes across so well all the time. And I thought she was an amazing host, if I'm being honest. I loved each and every one of her little vignettes. She went through several films throughout the show, starting with Black Panther, and it kicked us off on a great note with her Girls Trip co-stars. They killed it. She was so funny in that opening bit. Then she comes out with this Cardi B rap, and it was hilarious. I thought it was so funny. I love the line about Michael B. Jordan getting you pregnant by just staring into your eyes. It all worked. Then we get this Kylo Ren bit in the middle of the show. That was so funny. I absolutely loved it. And each and every one of her outfit changes had a comedic twist to it. From literally coming out in this curtain dress that was fabulous for her, to a wedding dress, to breaking back out that infamous white dress that she has gotten her use out of. It all just worked. I thought she moved the show along very well. She interacted very well. I loved her fangirling over Gaga. It all just was hilarious. So I loved Tiffany Haddish. This was just a perfect show of getting somebody who is just genuinely excited to be there, who's genuinely fun and funny. She wasn't plugging in political agenda remarks. She didn't have any underlying motives other than to have a good time and hope that you have a good time with her. Even though she said she didn't care if we had a good time. I think maybe that's it. She was just having a good time, and we all were too, and that's why it works so well for me. So getting into the show itself. It was only a 2-hour show. This is a pretty quick award show. And in many ways, thank goodness, because the sound design of the show was absolutely horrendous. Those video clips were so poorly edited with the music that I was actually slightly appalled. The music performances were horribly edited. Just the music in general. I don't know who was back there doing that sound mixing. Maybe it was Pauly D. Maybe they actually got him back there to not just a DJ. I don't know, but whoever it was needs to never work on an award show again, because it was terrible. And then speaking on the musical performances, starting off with Chloe and Halle, they created actually a really cool atmosphere. The stage was really cool. They started really strong. But then, I don't know who really to blame, but they got swallowed. The whole stage swallowed them up. It looked like the younger one of the two really got outshone by the backup dancers and by who looked to be the older, maybe more experienced of the duo, who was killing it. But their vocals, you could not hear them. You just could not. They got completely drowned out. There were drums, there were backup vocals, there were just too much going on, in which they just got ate alive on that stage. And then we move over to Nick Jonas and Mustard, and I basically was just like, meh. One, My mustard. I mean, I just don't. If you're a DJ that gets your name as front billing on a song, that doesn't mean you need to come out for the performance. I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it. Because most of the time you add 0 to live performances. So maybe you should have been back there working and making sure they made your song sound how you intended, instead of just awkwardly out on the stage. I mean, just let Nick Jonas do the performance and go do something else. Go just count the cash that you're raking in. There's no need for you to just go out there like that. So some of the other big moments of the evening. Let's go ahead and talk about our 2 special honorees of the evening. And that kicked off with our Trailblazer Award with Lena Waithe, who is fabulous and fantastic. And it's really nice that this landed in Pride Month and she was able to be recognized. And I literally was just like, yes, as she went up there and pretty much dedicated her whole speech and her award to Paris is Burning. I just did a review this month, collaborative review on that film, so check it out. But she echoed a lot of the things I said in my portion of that review of these people just haven't gotten their due. They haven't gotten their respect for how much the underground ballroom, and in particular black members of the LGBTQ scene within the ballroom scene, have made on society and popular culture now. So I just loved everything she had to say, and I love that she really shouted out all of those trailblazers for her and for so many in the industry right now. I thought it was a great speech. But then we get over to Chris Pratt, who won for the Generations Award. And I actually loved the introduction for him, because they basically pointed out that he plays the same character. Like, let's not fake the funk. Most of us like Chris Pratt quite a bit, but he plays Chris Pratt just in different settings most of the time. But he's always a good sport about it, and I liked that he was playing along and thought it was fun as well. But then we get to his speech. So he gives this speech that is the 9 things to live by for the new generation, according to Chris Pratt. And I just thought it was a very strange speech. So at least 3 of his things were dedicated to faith and to God. And I just thought it was a bit much. Dedicating one or giving a shout out or mentioning your faith, obviously, it's great. You're winning an award. This is your time to represent yourself in your speech. And if that is you and that's a big part of your identity, I want you to bring it up and I want you to shout it out on the stage. However, it did become way overly preachy because it kept being about, I want the new kids to believe in God because I do. I want you to learn to pray because blah, 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 blah. I want you to realize this because a higher power created it, and kind of giving a sermon at that point about Jesus giving up his life and giving blood so that we could. It was a lot. And I thought it became a bit like a sermon and a bit preachy, actually. And I just thought that was a very strange choice and a little bit too much. I wish he would have left it maybe at the first one, or at the very least gave more of a speech about himself and about his experience with faith, rather than you should believe, you should pray, this is what happened for us all. And I thought that was too much, in my personal opinion. But then, in the middle of his little mini sermon, he goes on this diatribe about pooping in public. I was not a fan. It went on too long. Again, I was just like, wow, this is taking some heavy swings left, right, and center. I don't know. It was a very strange speech, especially when you're given an award that is supposed to be somewhat of an honor and you're taking it as inspiring a new generation. I wasn't a big fan of Chris Pratt's overall presentation. The other real notable presentation of the evening for me came from Lady Gaga. One, I don't know what this look was. It's like weird, wannabe, edgy rocker Gaga now. I'm not really sure. I want Sound of Music Gaga. I want Hollywood glamour Gaga. That's my fave. But this hair is just very not befitting. But I loved her bit about her documentary that she won for, now being a lie, because she's not actually 5'2". Of course, she shouted out Pride Month because that's a heavy identity for her, and in particular, and more so, her fan base. And then I loved her just Black Mother Effin' Panther. I loved it. But good old Black Mother Effin' Panther was definitely the big winner of the night. Of course, taking home Best Movie, but also snatching up Best Performance in a Film for Chadwick Boseman, Best Villain for Michael B. Jordan, and then the first award won by Black Panther for the evening, Best Hero. And actually, each and every acceptance speech from the Black Panther wins was fantastic. I loved the Best Film speech, in particular what Winston Duke had to say, and of course what Michael B. Jordan said about just breaking that open. And finally breaking open these barriers and thanking the audience and the world, really, for helping that happen. Michael B. Jordan gave a great speech, but really the best speech of the night for me personally was Chadwick Boseman's speech, in which he brought James Shaw Jr. up onto the stage to use his time winning a Best Hero award to honor a hero, a real-life hero, who, in many ways, many people feel got a little bit shafted on the national level from the media, from administration, from leaders in our country, and really didn't get the recognition that he deserved in a subject that has been so haunting for our country for so long at this point, and that doesn't go away. And to see a hero actually take a stand and do something amidst a shooting and see the results he saw, putting himself in danger. I mean, he's an amazing person, and it was really great to see Chadwick bring him up onto the stage and actually give him his award for Best Hero. I thought that was really fantastic and a really class act and beautiful move from Chadwick Boseman. Otherwise, the awards themselves almost mean nothing, because it's such a weird thing that they continue to intertwine film and television. I like the idea of movie and TV awards. MTV, do that. I think that's cool. But do like you do for the actual final awards for Best Performance in Television, Best Performance in Movies, Best TV Series, Best Film. All of the categories should be separated, much more like the Golden Globes. It is just so weird and polar opposite to judge a performance in a television show and a performance in a film. When you have things like Scene Stealer, or you have things like Frightened Performance, so on and so forth, one of them has like a whole series to do so. They have like 10 hours, and the other has an hour to an hour and a half. It's very strange to put them in the same category. It doesn't really make sense to me, but so be it. That's what it was. And clearly, I'm not one that's really up to date on TV, so when it came to these winners, I was glad that Tiffany Haddish won for Best Comedic Performance. It would have been a real shame if she didn't walk away with an award after such a great and funny job hosting the show. And of course, I was super happy that Love, Simon won for Best Kiss. That was one of my two that I was like really, really hoping would take home an award. Timothée Chalamet was the other one, but when you're up against the juggernaut that is Black Panther, what are you gonna do? I'm not mad that Chadwick won either, though. Wonder Woman won for Best Fight Scene, so really all of my favorites got on the board, except Game of Thrones didn't win anything. But it won. Black Panther, as I said. Love, Simon. It was a great night for a lot of my favorites. And overall, it was a fun, enjoyable telecast, and I really do have to give it up to Tiffany Haddish, because if this had been a more bland, a more try-hard type of host, it just would have been another bland, boring award show. The funny thing is, if you had plugged a lot of other comedians into the bits she did, like the one about A Quiet Place, I do think it would have fell flat. But she sold it. She sold it, and it worked. It was fun. It was funny. Every bit worked because of Tiffany Haddish. So really, I have to give it up for her, because I think she made the night the fun time that it was. So that is my recap and review of the MTV Movie and TV Awards. Did you watch the awards show tonight? If you did, what did you think? Let me know your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below or hit me up on Twitter. I love y'all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!